Hello and howdy do. I'm Lindsay and I'm currently feeling a touch under the weather, so we're doing this a bit differently due to my not feeling pretty. So, Chappie. This will be interesting. Going into this one, I didn't know what to expect. Something I actually kind of went out of my way to create. I knew next to nothing going into District 9, and I loved it, but Elysium, I knew a lot just from trailers and internet stuff, and I didn't like it. So in prep for this one, I barely even saw a trailer. I knew it was about the birth of AI, and it had some meanie-face bad guy with not Ed 209, but that's it. All I knew. And the results of my little test? Mixed. It's better than Elysium, but that's not saying much. Let's begin with Chappie himself. Several years in the future, the Johannesburg police work in tandem with robots called scouts. One day, a scout takes a bad hit, but instead of being scrapped, the creator of these robots, Dion, tries out his spiffy new genuine AI program-a-majigger on the busted bot. Thusly, Chappie is born.
You are Chappie. Chappie. It's like a child. It has to learn.
Not in a lab, though, but in the warehouse home for a couple of gangsters, and that is where the drama of this movie that worked for me comes from. The adoptive father wanting to use Chappie for his own personal gain, the mother wanting Chappie to be happy, and Dion wanting Chappie to be Dion's idyllic version of good. It's cheesy, it totally is, but I found myself really sucked in by this three-way battle for Chappie's soul. Much more so than the B-plot seeing Huge Hackman as the main villain, whose name I can't even remember. A super right-wing, ex-military, mullet-wearing, over-the-top religious, gun-toting, sociopathic, never gets a moment of redemption or humanity jackass. 'Cause that's how you write a villain. This character, his motivation, his plan, they're all just so generic and overplayed, and obviously they're just a shoehorn in a robot on big robot battle. Which is a great way to segue back to that storyline because I found it to be extremely thought-provoking. Stories of dreamers, scientists creating AI only to meet some dick that wants to destroy their work, or stories about what makes one human or what constitutes a soul are nothing new, but a movie about a robot on a spiritual/religious journey? That's a new one for me. Chappie's sped-up development time and coming of age during the three-way battle for his destiny was an effective mirror for the human condition, I found. He starts as an infant, learns to communicate, grows into a desperate-for-love teen who comes to understand and then question the purpose of his own mortality and existence, only to then grow into more than anyone thought possible. Said mortality comes from Chappie not being able to change his battery that has only a few days of power left. Man, Blomkamp seems to really like giving his characters ticking clocks, doesn't he? But as Chappie tries to fight against his demise, he rages against his creator, embraces the dark side in an attempt just to live, learns of the consequences his actions can have, of the cruelty of this world in addition to its beauty, and then he becomes greater than even his maker. And those are the parts of this movie that work. Its exploration of man's relationship with God. Not its villain calling Chappie a godless monster and inviting everyone to go to church with him. In fact, I would argue that if you removed Jackman and not Ed 209 from this movie and it emphasized the battle for Chappie's soul, it would be a far superior film. But don't misunderstand me and think this is an overly preachy religion or die kind of thing, because it's not. Like I said, Chappie eventually grows to accomplish things that Dion could never do. The son surpasses the father, the apprentice beats the master, the creation becomes more than the creator, man becoming more than God. The applicable metaphors are endless, relatable, and full of meaning. But then Huey Lewis and the Jackman attacks with the big scary robot with the big exploding missiles. So Chappie, the once toddler, must take what he's learned about the world, fully come of age, and then protect his family, as the scary robot can apparently fly. You see what I mean about this movie? It's just so odd. There's a verdict for you. It's packed to the gills with great ideas, good intentions, loving care, but it's also just so dumb. And I'm not blaming this on Jackman. He did everything and then some of what was necessary of him for this movie. I applaud him for bringing so much to such a character as this. The issue is just with the writing of the character. You know, I don't want to hate on Neil Blomkamp. I really don't. His track record is just against him. And you know, okay, this movie isn't bad. It's just not really good. I like its ideas. I like its themes. I like its morals and its messages. I just don't like it. And this isn't the first time I've gone through this. Alien 3 is a movie that I enjoy the message, I enjoy the themes of, I enjoy what it was going for. I just don't like watching it. And the same thing could be said of the Matrix sequels. I respect them. I like what they went for. I like the attempt that was made. I just don't like watching them. But does that mean they're bad? Okay, yeah, in a literal sense, it does mean they're bad, but in a more complicated, artistic, and thoughtful way, okay, they're still not great, but you know, sometimes art transcends good and bad. Sometimes it's not meant to be good. Sometimes it's just meant to give you an idea. Sometimes it's just meant to make you think. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Chappie is. You know, it's a big action blockbuster, hoobity-boobity, but there are some interesting ideas in it. So, I'm kind of at a loss here, guys. If, like me, you're on board for crazy sci-fi religious stuff, then go for it. You'll probably find some value in this movie. Check it out. But otherwise, I really am not comfortable recommending it to anybody. Man, you know, like I said in my Interstellar video, sometimes sci-fi movies age out of a not great initial response. So maybe that's what's going to happen here. You know, maybe I'll revisit this in a year and we'll see how I feel. But for now, I am one ponderous Lindsay, and I am out.